because we wouldn't have had that if KJ didn't come in.
No, and KJ Osborne, I remember when I covered fall camp last year, just being impressed with him, his like the aura around him. He carried himself in a very confident way, but I mean, it wasn't cockiness. He worked hard to get that, and so I really like KJ. Talk about, I mean, everyone loves to hear about Sean Taylor. You were only with him for a year with the Hurricanes. Tell the audience what he was like on the field and also off the field.
Well, I always got a funny story with Sean on the field. So I played scout team receiver, obviously coming in as a freshman, because that's what you do as a freshman, especially a punter and kicker. And I didn't realize the competition level whatever, because I'm a competitor. I came from the soccer world and stuff like that. Always like the better athletes, but going as a kicker, you didn't realize like, oh, you're just a kicker, and I'm just like, I have no idea what that means. Like, I'm gonna compete with you. I don't care if you're a receiver, DB, whatever. I'm gonna run with you. We're gonna do drills. So I'm playing receiver, and Coach Shannon gave us the routes, and it was a 9 route, which is a go route. And I go, catch it, score a touchdown, kind of celebrated a little bit. And Sean just looks over with this like confused look and goes, "You okay, Rook?" I was like, damn, I messed up now. So Coach Shannon's like, "Run it again." So run the same play. They throw it to me. I'm looking at Sean. He's looking at me. He's not even looking at the ball. He's just looking at my chest. And he came and absolutely destroyed me. Didn't even look for the ball. Stands over me and says, "You ain't celebrating now, huh, Rook?" I was like, damn. So Sean, as far as a competitor on the field, I probably have never been around a better athlete. I think Sean could have went first round as a receiver, running back. Probably could have been an all-pro linebacker if he really wanted to be. He was just literally a specimen. He was a freak. I mean, you're talking about a guy who was, 6'3", sometimes weighing 230, run like a gazelle, and was just, you feared him. Like, you saw receivers from the team. They feared Sean Taylor on the field. Off the field, I think Sean Taylor was a completely different man, right? He was actually very quiet. He had his small circle of friends, and then there'd be some times where he wouldn't even acknowledge you. You're like, damn, okay. And then all of a sudden, next thing you know, you're having a conversation. And I remember one time, it was my freshman year, my birthday always lands around bowl game time. And one of the trainers, her birthday was around mine. And you never want to say your birthday, especially when you're young, because they literally would whip your ass. So I'm going by the pool, and we were at the Orange Bowl my freshman year. And one of the trainers was like, "Oh, hey, Brian, it's your birthday tomorrow, right?" And I'm looking around like hoping none of my teammates are there. And Sean's there. I'm like, Sean ain't gonna say nothing. He just looked at me kind of, he ain't gonna say nothing. Sure enough, I get in the locker room the next day. All the dudes are like, "Hey, what's up, birthday boy?" And I'm like, "Oh, man." So Coach Coker goes, "All right, birthday boy, call it up." So, you get one guy to break down the team or whatever after you're done stretching. As soon as I'm about to break it down, here comes Sean and Kellen running at me full speed before I could even say, ready, break. Yeah, I got whooped a little bit, but yeah, Sean was a special dude, man. I mean, as far as people always like to say, "Oh, this is going to be the next Sean Taylor." Like, no, you need to stop with that comparison, because you're talking about combination between size, athleticism, knowledge of the game, fearing people. Like, there's not going to be another Sean Taylor, probably not in my lifetime, because that's how special he was. And I have no doubt if he, rest in peace, was alive and still playing the game, he would go down as probably the best safety ever to play the game with another fellow, Kane and Ed Reed.
I love it, man. That's amazing. So my last question for you, I think Marsh has one after me. What is the number one thing that you want to see out of the Miami Hurricanes during the 2020 season?
I want to see some energy. I want to see that they care. There's at times where you would see this team the last couple of years, they just didn't look like they wanted to be there or care. They weren't flying around. Like, I could turn on a MAC game and see these guys flying around more than us. I want to see energy from the team. I want to see them, want it. And I'm obviously very excited about the spread offense finally, because I've been drooling at other teams with the spread and just having a dual threat quarterback that can tuck it and run at any time, get out of situations, especially with our offensive line being what it is. I'm very eager to see what Derek King brings to the table, and I just want to see us get back to having fun and having that swag.
Yeah, it's awesome. My last question, and it's a very generic question that we love to ask former Hurricanes. Give us your top 3 most memorable moments as a Miami Hurricane.
Top 3 most memorable moments. Okay, let's go with the first one being offered by Coach Coker. A scholarship, I remember that day like yesterday. Coming down on a Sunday practice with my mom and sitting in the locker room. I think that was probably one of the best experiences for me. First game in the OB against Florida at night with the epic comeback. Obviously one of the best games ever to be played in Miami. Devin Hester opening and, kick off the whole 9 yards. I think that was a special night. And I'm going to say graduating from Miami as well.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I think I was like 9 years old sitting in the Orange Bowl when Hester took that back, and I have never heard anything louder in my life.
It's crazy. People always ask me, was that the loudest game that you've ever been a part of, or talk about the Notre Dame game that happened in 2017. And I always say, I'll say this, the Florida-Miami game was actually my second loudest game that I've ever been involved in. The loudest game I've ever been involved in was actually when we played Clemson up there at Death Valley, and we went into overtime with them. When they came back, I believe we were up 14 or something points, and they were coming back on us, and I had to punt in the fourth quarter. My legs were shaking because the ground was moving. That's how loud it was.
Jeez.
Oh,
yeah.
That's
LeBron actually said something similar to that last time he was on. So you guys definitely on the same page there.
Yeah, it was definitely crazy. But I tell people all the time, listen, there's no better atmosphere than a night game in the OB, especially when we put in the extra bleachers in the end zone. It is that was definitely something special that I wish that City of Miami did something else instead of give us this Marlins Stadium that nobody ever goes to.
Yeah, that's a whole nother story. But Brian, thank you so very much for coming on, man. Anytime you want to come on again, we'd love to have you. And go Canes as always, brother.
Yeah, man, no problem, man. Shout out to all the Canes fans out there, and I know a lot of you guys are sitting back doing like me, watching some old games and some memories. So hopefully we can make some new ones in 2020, and hopefully see you guys out there at the games this year.
Love it, man. Hopefully we'll see you week 1.
Oh, for sure. Listen, I'm not missing a game unless this quarantine and this thing keeps going. But I never miss a home game.
Cool. See you then. Man.
All right, we'll talk to you later.
All right, guys, take it easy.
Go Canes.
Man, that Sean Taylor story. Oh,
yeah,
that was so cool.
Yeah. Former Canes on, man. We need to go harass some of them on Twitter and get them on here.
Well, we got one from the 01 team coming on tomorrow, so that should be fun. I got so many effing questions for that guy.
Yeah.
Holy cow. I mean, yeah. I just love hearing about Sean Taylor. Like, he's just such a almost mythical like player.
Yeah. No, he definitely is. Unfortunately, I think he would be as revered and, well, to some extent, like when people with legendary talent like pass away early, you see this a lot in music. It kind of like it builds like this myth around them, or this, it makes them a mythical figure. You see that with guys like Jimi Hendrix, or what's the dude from The Doors, Morrison.
Jim Morrison.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, how it's almost like they become larger than life when they pass away early. I mean, we're going to see that with Kobe Bryant. And I think Sean Taylor was talented enough to hear all this stuff, but his passing has really just made him like so much a part of the culture. I mean, I think everyone grieving together and all that kind of stuff just, I don't know, just really made him integral into Miami and football. I mean, you can't think about Miami and football anymore without Sean Taylor.
Yeah. I mean, and just the fact that, like, people say, like, yeah, he was good. That dude, like, and that's just an understatement, dude. There's not many more talented players I've watched than Sean Taylor. Just seeing him back there, and when he got his hands on the football, it was just incredible. And, yeah, I mean, it just adds on to the legacy of the University of Miami. And, yeah, that's why I love having those former players on. They give you an inside look and, inside stories that, we don't know, and, what these guys were actually like as a person.
Yeah. I loved all the love that John Beeson was getting while we were interviewing Brian Monroe. John Beeson was probably my first favorite player other than Willis McGahee on the team. So when I was watching those, 2004, 2005 season, stuff like that, man, I just loved watching Beeson play. And then he was one of my favorite NFL players when he went to Carolina as well.
Hey, maybe we can, with our connections now, maybe we can get him on the show.
Ooh, I would fangirl so hard, dude.
Yeah. I love Beeson. I remember he threw out the first pitch on opening day for when I was in like 5th grade in my Little League baseball league. I went to shake his hand and I was like trembling.
Yeah.
Scared.
If we had him on, I'd be trembling while we interviewed him. I'll be like, I've played you with Madden.
You were so cool.
Hey, remember that time when I'm talking about the Chris Farley skit?
Remember when you were a hurricane? That was awesome.
Yeah, that was cool, right?
Oh, that's so funny. But yeah, another good episode. I love it. I love doing this.
Yeah, man. That's yeah, I loved it. I love that we were able to talk about The Office and, go off topic a little bit with the Urrutia brothers.
No, absolutely. I mean, breaks up the monotony. I mean, we can keep asking, like, talking about, like, the questions that we always answer and everything, but it's almost like hitting the refresh button, and it feels amazing to talk non-Canes every now and then.
Yeah, well, I'd actually love some feedback from our listeners on that. If on occasion we had people connected to the program, like the Urrutia brothers are, we've talked to both of them on here. They're both very knowledgeable, great parts of the Twitter community for Miami football. I want to know what you guys would think if we had people connected to the program on, but we don't always necessarily talk Miami football. And that way we're kind of getting to know Canes fam in a different way, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's fun to talk about the Hurricanes, but it's awesome to share other sides of ourselves with Canes fans. And I mean, just like the other day, like when I went on my ranting session, like it gave people, they were able to look at me in a different kind of way, and I really appreciated it.
Yeah. No, I love it. I love when we talk Entourage. I love, when me and you go off on our tangents at the end of episodes and are talking about pizza or whatever, or, good stuff.
I mean, I wish other crap was going on right now. I'm so bored, dude. I'm so effing bored. And when Gabby said that he was actually doing okay without sports and he's still doing stuff, I'm like, damn, I'm a loser.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. Oh, speaking of which, I had a Twitter question that I didn't get a straight answer out of you. So I need to hear it live on air. So who is your best recurring cameo in Entourage? And the choices I listed were Gary Busey, Seth Green, and what's his name? Bob Saget.
Bob Saget's pretty damn funny. I mean, I hate Seth Green in the show, but he's funny too. Gary Busey. I was watching the episode the other day when they bought that desk off of Gary and he painted on drama.
Yeah.
He goes like, I don't want to paint you. I want to paint on you. Like, you are the art. I'm like, oh, that is so funny.
Yeah, dude. I think Bob Saget's probably more consistently good on that show than Gary Busey.
Yeah.
But my vote was for Gary Busey, and even if he was only in this